CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Middlesex London Health Unit officials say they are confident they'll be able to get a Legionnaire's outbreak back under control after redeclaring one yesterday. With more on the likely source they've identified, here's Jerry Dewan.
A team from a company that specializes in maintaining and repairing cooling towers could be seen working on the system at Sofina Foods. It's this system that the Middlesex London Health Unit says was the likely center of the Legionnaire's disease outbreak.
I didn't even know this was going on. It's pretty scary to hear.
Peggy Hill lives half a block away from Sofina and says she hadn't heard of the outbreak until this day. She says one of the people in her home is immunocompromised.
I'd like to know exactly what it is, how it will affect the environment, our breathing status and that.
The health unit says the outbreak has claimed 4 lives and sent nearly 90 people to hospital. Dr. Joanne Kieran is Associate Medical Officer of Health. She says identifying a source is a significant step forward in finally stemming the spread.
It means that we can ensure that the system is completely remediated. And that involves not just chemical disinfection, but actually opening the system up.
Dr. Kieran says as soon as the cooling towers at this location were identified as the most likely source of the outbreak, they were shut down immediately. She says while that should quickly halt the spread, it doesn't mean some people won't still present with Legionnaire's disease.
We do expect cases to continue, for us to see cases come in over the next week or two, because Legionella does have a long incubation period, and so there may have been people who were infected prior to us identifying the source and now mitigating the risk.
Dr. Kieran says most people coming in contact with Legionella bacteria won't show symptoms.
The people that we worry about are those who are elderly, immunocompromised, have underlying lung conditions, or are smokers.
She says 8 other cooling towers in the region where Legionella was identified are also being cleaned, but no disease cases have been linked to those towers. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
Paratransit drivers in London have overwhelmingly rejected a proposed contract from their employer, Voyago, setting up possible strike action. According to the Amalgamated Transit Union, the starting wage is $18.50 an hour, and officials say that does not meet the demands of the job. This is the first contract negotiation since London's paratransit operators joined the ATU earlier this year, aligned with LTC drivers. According to Voyago's parent company, officials are taking the vote seriously and they remain at the table. Talks are set to resume on September 8th, and a strike could start as early as September 16th.
I've never had an issue with an employer like I have with Voyago. And this is really London Transit Commission's issue because they contract this work out. You know, they dispatch the work. We pick up the money and give it to London Transit that Voyago collects. It's almost like there's too many hands in the cookie jar, and I don't know why London Transit doesn't take this back under their own umbrella. And that way they can control the paratransit division. They can ensure that they hire, qualified, capable people that are dedicated and going to spend a career working for the city of London, opposed to guys cycling in and cycling out, picking up my grandmother who needs dialysis.
A new funding source could see London Transit extend bus routes into new parts of the city, but that rollout could be a while coming because of bus manufacturing delays. With more on that timeline, here's Daryl Newcomb.
It's a 15-minute walk every day from Marwanziada to reach his bus stop, because London Transit still doesn't have a route through the Fox Hollow neighbourhood in northwest London.
In total, it takes like an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and 10 minutes every day just to go to the college.
The London Transit Commission approved submitting a business case next year to tap into City Hall's annual assessment growth, the amount of property taxes generated on new construction each year. The funds are allocated to expand services that meet the needs of a growing city, like additional garbage collection, snow plowing, and police officers. But for the first time, extending bus routes will also qualify for council's consideration.
This is a really exciting opportunity for us to recognize that some of that assessment growth money should be going towards transit services.
In 2026, the Transit Commission will request assessment growth funding to extend service into 4 neighborhoods. Then, in 2027, request funds for service in Fox Hollow and Hyde Park. But even if the funding is approved, the routes to underserved areas won't start until a couple years later.
It's difficult to tell residents that have been in their homes for 15 years, don't worry, transit's coming, but it's not coming till 2029.
Even after assessment growth dollars are awarded for a route extension, there's a significant lag time between when London Transit orders a new bus and it's actually built and delivered.
A year and a half to 2 years to get a new bus. So one of the things that was discussed briefly at the Commission today was the concept of what if we start pre-ordering before we've even approved the funding for it. It is a little risky because, as a Commission, we get our funding from the municipality.
It still feels like we're doing significant catch-up in our community, and I think it's very much something that we need to note with our provincial and our federal partners.
Federal funding would shave months or years off the route extension timelines by not having to wait for assessment growth to be generated each year. Marwan believes extending bus routes can't come soon enough for him, as well as neighbors unable to reach the current bus stop.
Many people doesn't have the ability to walk every day 15 minutes. Many people might be injured or might have like a accessibility problem.
Council allocates assessment growth dollars each spring outside of the budget process. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
A driver crashed through the front of a building this afternoon in Sarnia. Sarnia Fire Rescue posted photos of the scene, saying it happened just after 2 p.m. on Lambton Mall Road. According to the Post, the person driving was able to get themselves out of the vehicle and they are uninjured. One person inside the business sustained minor cuts and the scene was turned over to Sarnia Police. No details on potential charges have been made public. Premier Doug Ford says his government is considering getting rid of school board trustees, taking a shot at the Thames Valley District School Board over last year's spending controversy involving a pricey executive retreat at a Blue Jays game.
Well, there's some good and there's some bad ones. The bad ones like to go go to the baseball game and rent a box for, $34,000 and in the hotel suites looking over the baseball game that other people can't afford, and then they say they don't have money.
Meanwhile, there was a rally outside Queen's Park today opposing provincial legislation. Advocates say the new rules would give the government too much power over education decisions. Beth McDonnell has more on their concerns.
The issue of policing in schools.
Rallying at Queen's Park to say no. This group fears the impact of police officers inside Ontario schools. Anaf Hassan is going into grade 12.
Students, especially racialized, Indigenous and Black students, having police there creates more of an uncomfortable environment for them than it does create a safe environment for all students.
The Ford government is looking to amend the Education Act under Bill 33. If passed, it would give the Education Minister more power to take control of school boards around matters of public interest and expenses. But boards would also be required to work with police, giving them access to school premises and allow them to take part in programs and implement the school resource officer programs. Hassan says officers doing education in a supervised environment could work, but not in a monitoring role.
We are demanding fund our schools, fund our communities.
The group argues policing programs can disproportionately increase suspensions and discipline of racialized students. Instead of adding police, it wants investment into smaller class sizes, infrastructure, and supporting students with the greatest needs.
Our students, they need more child and youth workers. There aren't enough. We need more education assistance.
In a statement to CTV, the Education Minister's office says school resource officer programs help foster positive relationships between students and law enforcement, ultimately making our schools safer. Over the coming months, we will continue to consult with police agencies, parent groups, and school boards across the province on how we can bring back school resource officers and youth engagement programs that will help support students and make our schools safer.
Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
The Premier also announced the first steps toward Highway 413 construction.
Construction alone will keep 6,000 workers on the job and will add $1 billion to Ontario's GDP every single year. It will shorten travel times by up to 30 minutes per trip, helping people and goods get where they need to go faster. Highway 413 will protect our workers and will help us stand up to President Trump. It will deliver on our plan to build a stronger, more prosperous Ontario for decades to come.
Highway 413 will run between York, Peel and Halton regions. Doug Ford says construction will start with resurfacing on Highway 10, preparing for a new bridge over the future route. Crews will also begin upgrades at the 401-407 interchange, where Highway 413 will end on its western side.
With every project that we have, we'll continue to get the procurements out. We'll continue to work with those in the industry to accelerate it, get it done as quickly as possible. But with every one of our projects, this is the first start of our early works, and we have every intention of using every resource possible to get it done as quickly as possible, as fast as possible, and get as many shovels in the ground as we can across the entire 52-kilometer stretch of this highway.
Opposition leaders have disputed the government claims, saying the potential time saving for commuters will actually be minimal. They say the Premier is only interested in boosting land values along the new highway for developers. Environmental advocates have also criticized the project, saying it will harm waterways and dozens of at-risk species. A warning from the Elgin County Drowning Coalition after the death of an 80-year-old man at Little Beach in Port Stanley.
I think to hear that so many people got training in first aid and CPR was really incredible, because that's one of the things that we really try and push and promote, is to have people who are educated not only about your environment but on safe rescue, safe resuscitation, because that's something that ultimately can kind of reduce the risks and help make our community safer.
Elgin Emergency Services were called to the beach Friday afternoon. OPP say a man experienced a medical emergency and was found unresponsive in the water. He was brought back to shore and CPR was performed. They say he was taken to hospital but did not survive. Coalition members say medical events like heart attacks are becoming more common factors in aquatic emergencies.
When you're visiting the beach, take time to feel what direction the wind is going, because that may impact if you're on a flotation device. Understand the wave height, understand what color flag, if it's at a girded beach, understand the different conditions.
Southwestern public health officials have issued a boil water advisory for the Sweeburg area. That includes the eastbound en route service center near Woodstock. They say test samples indicated bacteria present. According to the health unit, residents under the advisory should bring water to a rolling boil for at least 1 minute before consuming. In Walkerton, officials are hosting operators from all over the world, training them in drinking water safety. As Scott Miller reports, the legacy of the town's E. coli disaster lives on.
Water operators from across Ontario are in Walkerton this week to learn the lessons that should help prevent another town from going through what Walkerton did 25 years ago.
Because of what happened, it makes it so much more important just to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
In May 2000, E. coli entered Walkerton's drinking water system, leading to the deaths of 7 people and making thousands more ill. The town's water operators, Stan and Frank Cable, were charged with falsifying records in the wake of the tragedy. But an inquiry found that a lack of training played a role in the tragedy as well. So 4 years after Walkerton's E. coli disaster, the Walkerton Clean Water Centre was built. Thousands of water operators from across Ontario now come to Walkerton each year to learn how to prevent a water-based tragedy from happening in their communities.
This shaped a lot of the requirements that are required for drinking water systems, like adopting a multi-barrier approach and just finding those lessons learned from the unfortunate incident that happened in Walkerton.
Some might suggest that haven't we learned the lessons from Walkerton by now? I mean, it was 25 years ago. We've been talking incessantly about drinking water quality since. But the folks here at the Walkerton Clean Water Centre point out that some of the water operators today and future water operators weren't born when the Walkerton water disaster happened in May of 2000. So learning the lessons of what happened here during those dark days is incredibly important.
I think I was probably 4, so I don't remember it at all. But learning about it since I've been in this career is definitely something that makes me want to be able to do my job very well and make sure that I think that's the last thing that you want on your conscience is anybody getting sick or anything like that. So that's something that's pretty important to me.
Many of the new operators coming into the industry now, they don't remember Walkerton, right? They were too young at that point. So our job is to remind them of, what can happen when you don't do your job properly. And, it provides meaning and context to their job so that they take it seriously and they learn what they need to learn.
It's not about keeping status quo. We have to continuously learn, continuously improve, and that's the only way we're going to get better and maintain the system in accordance with the regulations.
In Walkerton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Higher costs could soon be on the way for many Canadian small businesses. Starting Friday, an American exclusion for shipping fees will come to an end. With more on the expected impact, here's Rachel Aiello.
So we'll do a CUSMA form for these.
The United States is scrapping its tariff exemption on parcels worth $800 or less. It means starting Friday, all of those U.S.-bound shipments will be hit with duties.
It would have an immediate impact. The antique parts of our business are a substantial part of what we do. We've seen that business growing over the years, especially down into the U.S.
Many small shop owners like David Pelkey are facing a tough choice. Absorb or pass on the cost, cut off a key market, or go through the complex process of becoming CUSMA compliant.
This is going to have implications for a lot of Canadian businesses, and it's coming at a time where you don't necessarily have a lot of resilience in the small business sector.
But U.S. President Donald Trump dumping de minimis is also set to cost American consumers and could result in big headaches for border agents.
It was there for a reason.
Millions of duty-free packages enter the U.S. daily. But with this change looming, postal operators in at least 25 countries are suspending U.S. shipping, citing the lack of clarity around enforcement. Canada Post is not one of them. Instead, they'll be using a third-party program to collect and send the duties directly to U.S. Customs. The Crown Corporation said the duty will be equal to the tariff rate of a product's country of origin. For Canada, the current rate is 35% for most goods. A key caveat to take note of, Canada Post flagged to us today that documents and gifts valued under $100 US sent from Canadians, not businesses, will be exempt. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Still to come, a family reunion 50 years in the making. Mother and son ripped apart during the 60s scoop, finally brought back together. Strength in the financial sector helped Canada's main stock index finish higher today. The TSX up 93 points. In New York, the Dow added 147, NASDAQ gained 46. The Canadian dollar climbed 0.08 today. On commodity markets, gold is up $15.60 an ounce and oil added 90 cents a barrel. Air Canada flight attendants began voting on a new collective agreement today. More than 10,000 workers are eligible, with voting wrapping up September 6th. The proposed deal includes a pay bump and addresses unpaid work concerns for when planes are on the ground. The airline and union agreed to the tentative deal last week, ending a 3-day strike that made for a chaotic travel situation for many flyers. Prime Minister Mark Carney has wrapped up his European tour, sending a message of gratitude this morning to Canadian soldiers stationed in Latvia. Abigail Beeman has more on his final day overseas.
Inside a field ambulance, up close with tanks, Prime Minister Mark Carney talked to dozens of Canadian troops to learn what they do, and he heard what they need.
You see how important, for lack of a better term, drones are in the Ukraine fight. We are watching, studying, understanding how that fight is there, but we need those pieces of equipment here in Latvia.
Drone operator Wayne Fraser says modernization would help too, right down to his tactical vest.
It is a little outdated. There's no modular capability with it, which can be a little bit impeding.
We're also, back home, creating a new defense procurement agency so we can build at pace. So the women and men of the armed forces have cutting-edge military equipment that they need and deserve.
About 200 kilometers from the Russian border, the Prime Minister announced a 3-year extension of Operation Reassurance, saying, unfortunately, the need for the Canadian-led NATO mission here has only intensified. Carney didn't take questions. His defense minister pushed on whether Canadian troops in Ukraine was a possibility, regardless of a ceasefire.
These conversations are continuing. Obviously, the United States has an important role to play. So we'll see.
Latvia was the last stop on a 4-country European tour for the Prime Minister, who told Canadian troops here in Latvia what he told Ukrainians in Kyiv, that the strategy for Russia needs to be deter and fortify. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Camp Adige, Latvia.
Good evening. Some light rainfall overnight in through Walkerton in the Bruce Peninsula. Heading into tomorrow, the cold front will be dropping in for a visit with some showers and thunderstorms. Thanks, Kelly, for this photo of Holly. Kelly says Holly likes to start her day with a morning swim, and she says in this photo she looks a little bit like the Loch Ness Monster. 12 to 13 degrees to start your day, increasing cloud cover as we head into mid-morning and scattered showers and thunderstorms move in. I'll have your local weather details coming up.
Welcome back with Julie Adgerson now, and as we get toward the last long weekend of the summer, it does feel a bit more like the first long weekend of fall, but it's going to be a little rainy before we get there too.
Yeah, we have a cold front coming in. I'm so not ready for this weekend in terms of saying goodbye to summer, heading back to school. I know many of you busy planning and prepping and getting ready for the week ahead. If you are going to enjoy one last weekend, long weekend rather, outside, expect some nice conditions, although cooler air moving in with a cold front that's set to cross our area tomorrow. 21 degrees are high today, 10 degrees are low. The front that's coming in bringing some rainfall to parts of Midwestern Ontario tonight, Carlyle, and overnight. Bruce Peninsula picking up some rainfall, and that will continue through northern Bruce County. Overnight low temperatures anywhere from 11 to 12 degrees. In London, we will start to see increasing amounts of cloud cover by tomorrow morning, and the front will make the move. So we've had that rainfall that's coming down to the north and northwest, but that will be arriving to the area as this front slips in. So tomorrow, yes, we have rain and thunderstorms on the way. The front will sink southward with some storm action expected and some heavy pockets of rain, especially through Grey Bruce. You could see upwards of 20 millimeters of rainfall in and around Owen Sound. That front will continue to cross. Cooler air will follow, so we'll actually reach our high temperature in London early in the day. Then the rain comes in, the thunderstorms, and the temperatures start to dip down, so you'll notice. Now, we do have some cool overnight low temperatures in the extended forecast, single digits. So if you're camping this weekend, or you're heading to a cottage, or you're just planning on doing some outdoor evening walks, expect those temperatures to be dropping off. So some cool air on the move. Let's take a look at this forecast model. So about 4 a.m., possibility of those storms rumbling through northern Grey and Bruce County. So you could be woken up in the night by that. Expecting that to continue to drop southward, although the storms look to weaken as the rain arrives to London, Woodstock, and St. Thomas. Now, it looks to be quite light in and around St. Thomas. It'll pick up some steam as it hits the other side of the lake. But Thursday evening, the chance for showers will linger, but the main rain with the front will be south of us. Then the winds shift to the north, and that'll leave us with some cool air and about a 30% chance of showers on Friday. So your Thursday morning, 13, by lunch, 19, and then by the afternoon back down to 16 degrees. Showers expected to linger. Rainfall amounts will be much higher areas to the north where the rain starts overnight, and those thunderstorms expected. This reading not a whole lot for London, so we could get away with just a few millimeters in and around the London area as the front comes through. Let's take you through the weekend forecast. I know we have some sunshine to talk about and some nice conditions. We'll have a warming trend develop Sunday into Monday. Daytime highs will recover, but look at the overnight lows, friends, 6 to 7 degrees. That's cool. So the front will usher in the cooler conditions with the rainfall and storms tomorrow. And then Friday through Monday, a nice sunshine to mix of sun and cloud will hit 25 on Tuesday. And a mix of sun and cloud heading back to school, daytime high 25. Weather pattern in Midwestern Ontario, more rain for you tomorrow. It'll end though earlier in the day, and then we're at 19 degrees on Friday with a mix. Saturday and 21 could squeeze out some showers Friday just because the air mass is cool and unstable. And then Sunday into Monday, sunshine to a mix of sun and cloud, 23 to 24 degrees. And yes, cool nights ahead. Thursday through Sunday, we'll see single-digit overnight low temperatures. So expect some frosty conditions, not frost, but some cool conditions in terms of overnight lows, but some sunshine to get you right through the holiday weekend.
Thanks, Julie. The federal artificial intelligence minister was in London today visiting a science-based charity.
Would you like to go in a submarine under the ocean or to the moon?
Submarines.
Evan Solomon was at Let's Talk Science reviewing several programs designed to teach kids about the impact of AI. Let's Talk Science is based here in London, but its services are provided at 6,300 schools. Staff say they've received nearly $3 million in funding so far, enhancing programs for students coast to coast. They say AI is just one of their focuses, with a growing impact on education.
Computers and AI is going to be a part of the world for the kids these days, so we need to teach them that computing and use of computers is the foundation of all sorts of jobs out there these days. One of the things that they need to start thinking about is how to use AI for their benefit and how to think about the ethics and what the results are that they're getting out of use of AI. What are the kinds of questions that you're going to be asking? What are the results that you're going to be getting? And how do you ensure that those results are true?
Finally tonight, a mother and son reunited in Manitoba. They were separated during the 60s scoop, and for most of their lives, they've lived half a world away from each other. Alex Carpa reports.
It's an emotional homecoming for Jonathan Hooker, 1 decade in the making. For the first time in 50 years, Hooker has returned home to Manitoba to reconnect with his Indigenous heritage and family.
It's the first time I've actually laid eyes on my mother, so yep. It's been a journey, all right. It's all a bit overwhelming to be here today, so yeah, it's pretty cool.
Hooker was taken from his community of Moose Lake in 1975 during a government operation known infamously as the 60s Scoop. At just 18 months old, he was adopted by a family in Manitoba who then moved to New Zealand.
Through my adopted parents, they were always pretty open about things. I always knew that I was adopted. I guess up until a couple of years ago, I didn't really fully understand how it all played out.
Hooker's biological mother, Patsy George, has dreamt of this reunion since the moment her son was taken away.
I thought I would never see him again. He was only 2 months old when they took him away from me. And my other daughter, a month old.
An estimated 30,000 Indigenous children were taken from their homes between 1951 and 1991, many of them placed into non-Indigenous homes across Canada and around the world.
This is a moment to celebrate that there is hope for a lot of people all over the world that are searching for their families, and this is one of those examples.
Hooker hopes his story can help others who are in his situation.
So hopefully somebody else, again, will see this and hopefully maybe start looking for their family, or it'll give them some clues to reach out and help.
Hooker will be staying here in Manitoba for 3 weeks and will return to his home community of Moose Lake First Nation at the beginning of September. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.